Welcome to No Fun Channel. I'm Felix, and this is sci-fi shows I think they should remake. Next up is Super Force. The reason I decided to do Super Force next is because of the video I did on Street Hawk. In Street Hawk video, I was talking about how I got Street Hawk and another show confused, and this is the other show I was talking about. Super Force is about a guy in a suit that was inspired by RoboCop, and he also drove a motorcycle. This is one of the old school syndicated TV shows from the 90s. Super Force actually premiered in 1990 and was on for 2 seasons. It was set in a dystopian future of 2020, so it's safe to say they weren't too far off on how bad things would be in 2020. The star of the show was Ken Oland. I'm probably saying the last name wrong. One of the things I would say about the character he portrayed, Zachary Stone, is I don't remember Zachary being an astronaut, and I really don't remember that part. I don't think they ever brought it up again. Zachary returns from a mission from Mars and discovers his father's dead and that his brother Frank is missing, presumed murdered, and is presumed to be a crooked cop. During all this, Zach meets with E.B. Hunkford, played by Patrick McNee, who is a close family friend and a billionaire. And with his help and the help of a scientist, FX Spinner, played by Larry B. Scott, a lot of you may recognize him from Revenge of the Nerds. FX Spinner is working on an astronaut suit, and EB has him take that astronaut suit and turn it into a suit to fight crime. And right off the bat, the three of them form Super Force. In the first season, they did have a main villain throughout the series. And that main villain is the reason Frank went missing. It turns out he kidnapped him and brainwashed him and was trying to ruin his reputation. Why he just didn't kill him, it was the 90s. So that's why he didn't kill him. But yeah, Frank comes back, is brainwashed. He steals the super suit. And Zach and Frank fight. And Zach rescues Frank. And Frank goes off with that suit and fights crime elsewhere, and Frank is never seen again. He's mentioned, but he's never seen again. In season 2, they added adult star Ginger Lynn, and I don't remember, there was really no reason to add her. They got rid of people and brought her in. In season 2, they changed things up. Now, FX Spinner was still there. EB was still there. Now, the thing with EB, he actually died in the first season, but was still around as a computer-generated image. They did that to keep the company running. So they didn't want everyone to know that the brilliant billionaire recluse was dead. So they faked him being alive. But I do remember Ginger Lynn joining the cast in season 2. And I don't remember why they added her or what happened. I did find an article where they talk about due to financial reasons, things got shooken up. And I do remember him not being in a suit as much in season 2 as well. But that aside, the main reason I think they should do this is basically for the same reason as Street Hawk, in that there aren't really that many motorcycle shows where the hero rides a motorcycle and he has a souped up motorcycle. Now the images I did see of the bike kind of looked like Street Hawk motorcycle, and there wasn't that many images of the Super Force motorcycle. I don't know if this is one of those shows they want us to forget about, but I really couldn't find that many images of the bike itself. The only images I found are with the actor and the bike, and the bike is barely in the frame. But yeah, this would be a good one to remake too. It has the sci-fi element. It has the super suit, it has a super motorcycle, an AI helper. So this is a show that could actually set in today's time. Actually, they wouldn't have to set it way in the future. Like I said, the EB, he gets killed and is turned into basically an AI. So they could do that. You could have an AI of the character to say he's an AI. And then also a better design for the suit. The suit looked like a motocross suit that he was wearing. And like I said, I don't remember the bike too much, and I couldn't really find images of the bike. So they could always redesign the bike. They could make it look more like a modern bike or a heavily armored motorcycle. And I know a lot of those stunt bikes, they could, maybe do something with that and take a stunt bike and turn into the bike. But like I said, they could set it in modern times with everything, because it was supposed to be set in the future of 2020, so they could just have it set in today's time and maybe leave the astronaut part out. I don't know why he had to be an astronaut, but yeah, they could just leave that part out and go with it from there. And this is another show I think they should just do a full reboot on, all new actors. Now, Ken and Larry are still alive, and they could always guest star in the show. Maybe not as themselves, but not as the characters. But actually, I think they should get rid of the name FX Spinner and give them a new name. Or they could have FX actually stand for something. For a lot of people, you may not know, FX actually stands for special effects as well. So they could change his name to something else. Now, like I said, it's set in 2020. They could just lose the whole set in the future and have it in modern times, because we're doing AI now. So they got that part right about AI technology. We got a bunch of fancy bikes out there. There are bikes out there that can drive themselves. So they got that going for them. A heavily armored suit. There have been people trying to do this for years. So it wouldn't be that far off to have someone in a military style armored suit going out there doing something. So I think this would work just set in modern times, that someone finally figured out how to make a armored suit. One thing I would remove the aspect also of him working for the police department. They could even have them do a race trying to figure out who has the faster bike. They could have the two scientists, trying to prove who's smarter, things like that. They could even have them be at odds, maybe not see things eye to eye. Maybe one of them's a little more heavy-handed. They could be like a Batman and Punisher type deal. One wants to do more things like the Punisher, the other wants to do more like Batman, send him to prison. So yeah, it's just another show that I definitely could see as a remake in the same style as Street Hawk. Whole new cast. And I would like to say one thing I do remember about Super Force is that it was kind of campy. Like I said, it was the 90s and campiness was in back then. So lose all that. They could go more gritty with it. And like I said, they could have one be like Batman, one be like Punisher. They could have Street Hawk be like the Punisher and Super Force be like Batman. And the reason I would set it that way is that similar to Frank Castle, who served his country. Was there a version of Frank that was a cop too? But the point is, in Street Hawk, he was a cop who got injured, and they could have like the system failed him, and now he's just taking care of things himself. Versus Super Force, who is not there to be judge, jury, and executioner. They're just there to reinforce the laws. That's my take on the remake of Super Force. You guys have a nice day.